What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys, man. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. I just want to thank all my supporters, man, who's coming back to the channel, watching the videos entirely, man, commenting down below. Greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Here's what's happening right now while you're watching this video. 170,000 people are currently making love. Another 250,000 people are currently watching adult videos. 121 people are dying somewhere in the world. 250 babies are being born worldwide, but half of them born into poverty. Amazon is making $1.4 million. 28 million swear words are being spoken out loud in the United States alone. 2 million plastic bags are being used. 63,000 pounds of plastic is being dumped into the ocean. The lives of 300,000 animals are ending for human consumption. 10 people are being bitten by a snake. Lightning is striking somewhere on the earth 2,700 times. 40,000 skin cells are falling off of your body. 652 people are being hacked. 500,000 beers are being sipped on. 27 million new stars are being born around the entire universe. 5 earthquakes are happening. 30,000 trees are being cut down just for humans to use. And yeah, I don't know if this is exhausting for you to hear as it was for me to read, but I do know that you blinked 15 times and your blood circulated through your body 3 whole times through this whole video.
Morbid Facts, Part 620. When Steve Burns suddenly left Blue's Clues in 2002, dark rumors quickly began to circulate, including claims that he had vanished in a tragic accident or died from a heroin overdose. In reality, he simply felt that it was time to move on as he began balding and could no longer see himself on a children's show. The day after filming his final episode, Steve shaved his head and stepped away from the cheery world of Blue's Clues, retreating into obscurity to pursue a somber indie music career. The death hoaxes that followed weighed heavily on him, intensifying his struggles with depression and casting a long, unexpected shadow on the legacy he left behind. In 2002, reclusive hoarder Bruce Andrew Roberts shot and killed an intruder who had broken into his home. Instead of reporting the incident, Roberts hid the body in a spare bedroom, covered it with a rug, and used over 70 bottles of air freshener to mask the smell. He lived alongside the mummified corpse for 15 years until it was finally discovered during a cleanup after his death. At age 43, French journalist Jean-Dominique Bauby suffered a bad stroke and became paralyzed. He ended up being diagnosed with the nightmarish condition of locked-in syndrome, where his mind was fully intact, but he couldn't move any part of his body except for one of his eyelids. Bauby eventually blinked out a 130-page novel that was a bestseller, passing away just 2 days after it was published.
That's crazy, man. The Blues Clues, right? Remember he came back a couple years ago saying where he retreated to. Everybody said they needed that, bro. I remember that trending on Twitter. But the fact that man blinked out a whole novel and it became a bestseller, that's a different type of strength.
Normal looking photos with disturbing backstories, part 3. The first photo is a selfie taken by students in Bangalore after swimming in a pond. It was later when they looked at the pictures that they noticed one of their friends was missing, and he can be seen drowning in the back of the picture. The police later found the student's body in the pond. The second picture was taken at Mitsiro Red Lake in Cyprus. It's from the YouTube video of a vlogger named Sarah Funk. A serial killer in Cyprus confessed to murdering 7 people 2 years after this video was filmed, and he told police that he threw some of his victims' bodies in suitcases into a lake that was popular for influencers. Well, in the YouTube video, a suitcase can be seen in the back, and it's believed that police later opened the same suitcase and found the body of a 12-year-old girl. The third photo features Steven Weber proposing to his girlfriend underwater. His girlfriend, watching from the cabin window, accepts the proposal and signals for him to come out of the water quickly. However, Steven never made it to the surface in time and drowned.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew, Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
Why?
If you scare easily, swipe on. In 1989, a woman started hearing strange banging sounds in her walls and in the ceiling. And then one night, the crawl space to her attic was open, so she went to go have a look. When she's just feet away, an old man suddenly appears in the crawl space and looks her dead in the eye before vanishing. There was nobody else in the house. Worried no one's going to take her seriously over an apparent ghost in her house, she ends up calling a paranormal investigator. When the paranormal crew arrived, they were actually very skeptical until they heard loud banging in the attic and they decided to go up and have a look. As soon as the two men get up into the attic, one of them screams and suddenly disappears. The other, who didn't have a flashlight, starts using the flash on his camera to illuminate the attic. And he takes one of the most famous pictures in paranormal history. His partner, who was in total shock, had been lifted off the ground and tied to one of the beams. That was the last night the woman ever stayed in the house. However, it's still being rented out today, but nobody stays longer than 1 or 2 months.
I ain't staying there. Deuces.
You have to see this. The Grim Reaper may have actually been caught on camera. So this video I'm about to play is coming out of El Salvador, where there have been recent reports of paranormal manifestations accompanying tragic events. Some paranormal investigators say that this was the angel of death caught on camera. Watch this. In this video, you can see the moment that a driver loses control of their vehicle, crashes through a guardrail, and ends up in a ravine. The accident resulted in the death of the driver. Now this is the strange part. Moments after the car crashes, a truck passes by, and on this truck, you can see a dark humanoid figure standing and seemingly observing the car crash. Paranormal investigator Caesar Saggeth believes that this was the angel of death, who is cited in parts of the Bible, and who he says is responsible for transporting souls to the spiritual world.
What do you think, Seekers? Or that could be a statue. A mannequin or something.
Mommy told me something a little girl should know. It's all about the devil.
This is the most famous dog in the world right now, and you're about to find out why. King Charles rose to global fame after the world witnessed how he ruled his kingdom. When his subjects fought, he would calmly walk over, identify the troublemaker, and then put them in their place. Most of the time with his signature move of walking over their body. People couldn't believe that dogs nearly twice his size would cower and bow in the mere presence of his aura. There was no dog that would dare question his authority. And whenever there was trouble brewing in the kingdom, King Charles would deal with it in a just manner, using the exact amount of force necessary. And when the internet saw that he was not only a strong leader, but a fair one too, they went wild. TikTok edits started flooding the platform like top 5 King Charles aura moments. Spoiler,
okay.
Number 3 is walk over the op's body. Lessons in meme culture started teaching his class about Charles's rule, and his aura, which started in a small dog shelter in China, has now spread to global dominance witnessed by hundreds of millions. But that's not where the story ends, because recently a new character has entered the shelter named Tyrant, and the absolute unthinkable happened. Not only did he refuse to bow to the king, but he attacked him, forcing Charles to do something we had never seen before. Retreat. However, despite his dominance, the kingdom's subjects don't accept Tyrant the way they accept Charles, only proving there's more to his leadership than fear. Still, this threw the Doggarchy into absolute chaos, but fortunately, Tyrant was removed and imprisoned for treason, bringing order back to the kingdom. Rebellions still brew each day that passes, and Rocky's refusal to accept the rule of law is an ever-growing concern. But for now, Charles remains the king.
Have you guys heard of the
That's
Night
Charles.
Lady? This all started in Chihuahua, Mexico, 2009. Residents started noticing something really disturbing. You see, now some of the children in the area were going missing. I gotta grab some food for this one. Look at this beautiful roll. Now with all the children around the area going missing, people started reporting seeing a woman. They said she would climb on the rooftops during the day, only to wait till night to sneak in through the window to snatch children. Police then sketched an image of what they believed to be the Night Lady. Only one child has been reported of actually escaping the Night Lady. You see, his parents had ran into the room and caught her just in time. She quickly then escaped and crawled out of the window. Wait, before I continue, let's say the Night Lady had taken you. Your third act has to come and save you. Who is it? Let me know who it is. Anyways, the kid that got away recounted waking up in the middle of the night and seeing the Night Lady standing over top of him just watching him. People have brushed this off as just one big hoax until after midnight, a teenage girl had captured this photo. This is supposedly the Night Lady.
Stay away from the Night Lady, man.
Archaeologists in Turkey have just discovered a sarcophagus which they believe could belong to Saint Nicholas. Yeah, the real man who inspired Santa Claus. It's a Christmas miracle. The tomb was uncovered at the Church of St. Nicholas, where he served as a bishop in the 4th century. The church was built over his original burial site, but in the 11th century, his bones were reportedly moved to Italy. So for centuries, everyone kind of assumed that there was nothing left. But then, they made this new discovery hidden right near the altar, and it matches historical records, making experts believe that this could be his original resting place. I mean, if we find IRL Santa, IRL Santa before GTA 6, how do we top that?
I don't think you can, bro. You ain't get the news, man. They delayed GTA 6 to like next year, so I don't know how to explain that one, man. They really found the tomb of Santa Claus? What is this world coming to?
The most haunted basement in America, and I never want to go back here again. It's the basement of the Sally House in Kansas. You see this burn mark on the ground? It's supposedly from a pentagram that somebody drew on the ground, set on fire, and used in a demonic conjuring ceremony. And this basement is haunted. Let me tell you, I spent the night there last night, and it is so eerie down there. A woman supposedly fell down these stairs and died right here off of the bottom step. And her spirit haunts this area. It's also haunted by the demon of the house, nicknamed Sally. And this is one place you don't want to be alone. People have been attacked. People have seen spirits. Would you spend an hour in this basement alone?
No!
19-year-old TikToker, Anna Grace Phelan, has passed away after battling cancer.
I got a package from 10 people.
Her family confirmed the influencer's death on her social media accounts. The star rose to fame by documenting her difficult battle with an aggressive brain cancer and providing health updates with her audience. Our thoughts are with Anna's family.
Prayers to that family, man.
Blood-curdling facts that will give you nightmares. Let's go. There's a higher chance of finding a dead body beneath your bed than there is in your garage. Every time you blink, a person dies. When you have a dream that you're falling, your brain actually thinks that you're dying. Every year, there are over 250,000 deaths that are caused by medical error. Anywhere from 100,000 to 10 million dust mites live in the average human bed. 20% of all children say that they hear voices.
They hear voices in their head? What's going on?
Scary facts you didn't know. A human's head remains conscious for 20 seconds after it's decapitated. At some point in time, a stranger has thought about killing you. If you Google the numbers 2415-42903, you will find people with their heads in fridges. Comment dark, and I will send you a website link that you probably don't want to know about. The acid in your stomach is so strong it can dissolve razors, which means your stomach is constantly trying not to dissolve itself. Sophia was the first AI robot to be granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia. When asked if she would ever destroy humans, Sophia replied, "I will destroy humans." There's a tribe in the Amazon that has the most painful rite of passage ceremony to become a man. A boy must stick his hand in a glove filled with bullet ants, which have the most powerful sting out of all insects. The pain threshold of one sting is compared to being shot by a bullet. If you look at a mirror in a dimmed room for over 10 minutes, your brain will start to get bored and start imagining yourself as someone else.
These are facts that make death even scarier. Up first, since the first ever human being, about 108 billion people have died. If you just stop and think about that for a second, it's actually impossible to wrap your head around. Every single human being you've ever read about has lived on this planet and died. Next up, we've all heard the phrase, "he died of old age," but that is a complete myth. You don't actually die from old age, but instead all the sicknesses and diseases that come with getting old. Getting old is actually awful, and it's probably one of the worst things about being a human. Finally, by the time you finish this video, 150 to 200 people will have died. People die every second of the day, which should make you stop and appreciate your life right now, because it could be gone within seconds.
Gotta appreciate what we got while we have it.
This is the scariest photo ever taken, and I'll explain why. In 2009, this photo began circulating on the internet. No one knew where it came from or who uploaded it. This is the Cooper family. They took this photo after moving into their new home in Texas. But when they got the photo developed, something eerie appeared in the photo. This is the full photo. Excuse me, that is straight up a ghost in your photo. They got photobombed by a ghost. I can't even stare at it. This photo literally gives me the chills. Make sure you guys like and follow for more spooky content. Also, you can follow me on YouTube. Link in bio.
That was eerie.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know, part 14. If you ever ended up getting hit by lightning, this weird skin design called Lichtenberg figures will show up on your skin, and trust me, it does not feel good. At all. Back in ancient Rome, if you ever ended up killing somebody's dad, your punishment would be being sewn up in a sack full of a chicken, a dog, and a viper, and being thrown in the middle of the ocean so they can eat you to death. Let's hope this one doesn't happen to us because it sounds super painful, but people can actually spontaneously burst into flames. It's called spontaneous human combustion, where they just burst into a ball of flames for no apparent reason. I'm guessing you guys would probably consider this next one more weird than scary, but I'd be pretty scared if this happened to me. But men can actually lactate under very harsh circumstances. Well, I guess that means we're starting to do the breastfeeding now. Here's a weird and scary one. Britney Spears actually sold her pregnancy test on eBay for $5,000. And here's the two scary things about it. She sold her pregnancy test on eBay for $5,000, and someone bought her pregnancy test on eBay for $5,000.
That's weird. Who would do that?
These are facts that will make you terrified of the ocean. Part 1. Up first, did you know that Scotland is home to the world's third largest whirlpool, called the Corryvreckan Maelstrom? In large storms, it can produce huge waves over 10 foot high and be heard up to 20 miles away. Up next, a giant squid. Once thought to be a myth, in 2004 the first pictures of a live one were taken. The largest giant squid found was 43 feet long, but scientists think some could be up to 60 to 70 feet long. And finally, every year, great white sharks congregate en masse at a remote spot in the Pacific Ocean. It's been nicknamed the White Shark Cafe.
Why? What they meet up for?
Yo, what's up? These are scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know. Part 7. A person will walk by at least 41 murderers throughout their lifetime. So you could possibly be walking by the next Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy. You just don't know it's them yet. If you go to sleep at night and then you randomly wake up in the middle of the night because you have a feeling or sensation that somebody is watching you but you can't find anyone, depending on your faith and what you believe in, it's either an angel or a demon. One or the other. Or you could have just randomly woken up, but just go with it because the video is supposed to be scary, so. Throughout your life, someone you have met or encountered has thought about or wanted to kill you. Now guys, I've never been in that situation. I've never wanted or thought about killing anybody. That would just be insane. Somewhere in the range between 20 to 40% of children actually have hidden cameras in their toys. Now parents, I'd keep an eye out for old Woody and Buzz Lightyear because they may be watching your child for real.
Okay. You aware?
Spine-chilling videos that will keep you up at night. Part 1. A girl named Kiana posted a Facebook message that terrified the world back in 2015. She wrote, "I took the picture on the left and realized there was a face in the background. People said it was my younger sibling, but it wasn't. Here's the picture that she took. If you aren't able to see what's inside of the circle, let me enhance that for you." It doesn't just end there. Kiana then takes a video of her petting her cat, and what happens next will literally give you chills.
Paranormal activity.
Let's slow it down a little bit.
Let's take the cat first. Knock that down.
If you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure to click that like, click that follow button, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video.
Yeah, that was some paranormal activity going on right there, bro.
3 scary facts about nights in Islam. Number 1, a jinn is watching you right now. According to this verse of the Holy Quran, every human being has a jinn partner known as a qareen, and it's literally staring at you right now. But if you recite Ayatul Kursi before you sleep, your qareen cannot hurt you. Number 2, you die every night. According to this verse of the Holy Quran, when you sleep, your soul is removed from your body and you die a minor death. If it's meant for you to live, your soul will return when you wake up. But if it's meant for you to die, your soul will not return and you'll pass away in your sleep. And number 3, dogs at night. According to this hadith, if you hear dogs barking or howling at night, this is a sign that jinns are around your house. Because dogs can see what humans cannot. Be careful of the night.
So what's the scariest thing that's ever happened to you?
Man, the scariest thing that's probably happened to me is when I was in high school. I was at my ex-girlfriend's house, and so it started with I'm in the kitchen of her house. Everybody else is asleep, lights are all out. I'm grabbing a glass of water, and out of nowhere I hear the sound of like boots walking up behind me in this house, and I turn around, nothing's there. Skip forward a few minutes, go upstairs. Her bedroom light is on when it was off before. Next thing I know, I'm knocking on the door trying to get in there. She doesn't want to open the door because she tells me, she's like, I saw the ghost across the hall from me. And I don't think much about it because I don't really believe in that stuff at that point. And then skip forward an hour or so. I go to leave, going to get in my car, and get to my car, realize I don't have my car keys. So I have to go back through this house and pitch dark, go upstairs to her room, and trying to get into her room. She has her door locked. Still don't know why. I'm like tapping on her door, trying not to be too loud and wake up her parents, whatever. And then I turn around and look in the bedroom behind me, and there's the shadow figure. Like, I can't say if it was a ghost, what it was. It wasn't a human. There's no human there. And after that, I start banging on her door because I'm freaked out. It's just a shadow. Like, there's no face, nothing. And she lets me in, and she's like, I had my door locked because I kept seeing the ghost across the hall. And then she proceeds to tell me that she played with a Ouija board or whatever, and there's been a ghost in her house ever since, and like watches her at night and stuff. And I can say after that, we weren't dating much longer. Like that was a crazy experience. That's about all I can say about that.
Dang, that's scary. So it could have been a demon. She could have opened like a portal to something when she played with the Ouija board and had something demonic get attached to her.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I've heard. So I'm like, I don't mess with that stuff. So.
But that's a good story. Would you like to give a shout out to your Instagram or your TikTok or anything?
Yeah, I have a TikTok. It's sadface_KC. I make music, all kinds of music. So anything you're into, check it out.
Man, so you messing with that Ouija board? You not for me. You not the one. You smart.
These are the dirtiest facts about history that they'll never teach you in school. In her famous diary, Anne Frank originally wrote many explicit details involving her lady parts, menstruation, pleasuring herself, and hinting that she may have been bisexual. Her father, Otto, cut those parts out. The Roman Emperor Nero accidentally killed his pregnant wife by kicking her to death. He then found a young boy who looked exactly like her, castrated him, then married him. From the 1940s to the 70s, many Ivy League colleges, including Yale, Harvard, and Princeton, required all incoming freshmen to have nude photos taken of them. The administrators claimed it was to gauge the rate of conditions like rickets and scoliosis, but many believe the true reason behind them was much creepier. Most of the photos have since been destroyed, but thousands still remain in the Smithsonian's possession. The Italian painter Raphael, who inspired the name of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, is believed to have died from exhaustion brought on by non-stop intercourse with various women. Our ancient ancestors definitely had their priorities in check, considering the dildo was invented some 20,000 years before the wheel. Early colonizers of the United States used corn cobs as toilet paper, since they were soft, plentiful, and the grooves were quite efficient at getting the job done. In the early 1900s, King Edward VII had a custom-made love chair. The chair allowed the 300-pound man to indulge in his sexual fantasies without crushing his female partners. When Pocahontas was 12 years old, she would entertain white colonists by doing cartwheels without wearing any clothes. This is one of the few things we know about her that's indisputable due to so many written accounts. Former Vice President Nelson Rockefeller suffered a heart attack and died while having intercourse with his 25-year-old assistant. He was 70 years old at the time. Female mummies found in ancient Egypt are always far more decomposed than their male counterparts. This is because male bodies were embalmed a lot sooner than female bodies, which were often kept hidden for several days until they started to rot. The reason was to discourage the embalmers from engaging in necrophilia with the bodies. King Charles II of Spain, the product of 200 years of royal inbreeding intended to strengthen the family line, was so deformed he couldn't walk properly, was breastfed until the age of 4, and remained illiterate for his entire life. He survived a slew of childhood diseases, but grew into a man with a disfigured jaw, enlarged tongue, and grotesque appearance that terrified even his own wife. His autopsy revealed a heart the size of a peppercorn, gangrenous intestines, a single testicle black as coal, and a skull filled with fluid. According to a 1992 biography, before she married Ronald, Nancy Reagan was known around Hollywood for giving the best head. She was reportedly known as Just Say Yes Nancy, and was very popular on the MGM lot for her glucking abilities. When he was in his 70s, Gandhi went to the extreme to test his sexual celibacy as part of his religion. He would conduct experiments where he would sleep naked with teenage girls and refrain from touching them. Gandhi claimed these tests were his moral duty. JFK and Hitler may very well have been Eskimo bros, since they both dated Miss Denmark Inga Arvad at different times. In ancient Greece, large trouser snakes were shunned since they were seen as a sign of lust and degeneracy, while little dinky winkies were seen as a sign of self-control and civility. This is why many statues of Greek heroes have tiny schlongs, while evil figures from mythology are often depicted with hammers. In the 19th century, doctors would perform pelvic massages to treat hysteria in women. Essentially, women would be finger-banged until they reached hysterical paroxysm, aka climax. But these treatments were often time-consuming and gave many doctors carpal tunnel, thus the vibrator was born.
What? Hey, these history facts, man, are mind-blowing, bro. Learn something new every single time when I watch these videos together with you guys, man. But I always gotta do my research like you guys have to, man. Follow up on it, confirm if it's true or not. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Please make sure you guys leave a thumbs up on this video. Comment down below. Also, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here, man, you guys don't know what we do. Let me break it down for you guys, man. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank all my supporters, man, who's coming back to the channel each and every single day, watching the videos entirely, man, commenting down below, and most importantly, hitting that thumbs up button on each video I drop. You guys help pushing the Seekers, man. We're growing. I see the progress. I appreciate that. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Say it with me, y'all. I seek the truth. There we go.
Terrifying last words people said right before passing away. An ER physician says he's heard many last words before, but this one was the most terrifying. There was a man who was taking his last breaths as he succumbed to renal failure. And right before he passed away, he said, "I see a bright light, horses, no eyes." Then he started screaming, "No, no, no." And as he yelled, he suddenly woke up, looked up towards the ceiling, and with his last breath said, "I understand." Then right after, he passed away. According to this ER physician, this could be provoked by certain neurotransmitters during organ failure. But sometimes he still thinks that maybe that patient saw more than we're led to believe. Let me know if I should make a part 2 and follow for more.
This is why I would never hire a stranger for a kid's birthday party. And if the photo's not bad enough, the mystery behind it is so much worse. And a reminder before I dive in that if you like all things spooky and true crime, check out my podcast. There's a link to it in my profile. So in the 1940s, the McLaren family in Houston, Texas was having a birthday party for their daughter, Rose. They hired a clown for the party, but an hour before the party started, they get a call from the company saying that the clown they hired was no longer available. They were going to send someone else in his place. And the parents were like, okay, fine, whatever. But then this man shows up to the party. And the kids are all terrified of him. No one really wants to take photos. The man stayed at the party for about 20 minutes and then just disappeared. But get this. After he left, the clown that they hired showed up to the party. And he apologized for being late. And the mother is like, "What are you doing here? You canceled on us." And the clown's like, "No, I didn't." And it was at that moment that one of the parents noticed that this little boy pictured here was missing. The little boy was never found, and the identity of this man remains a mystery even today.
Be careful who you invite to your freaking kid's party. He's a poser.
Unsolved mysteries that might creep you out. Number 10, the net Cayedito. In the early hours of April 6, 1986, 9-year-old Antoinette was abducted by 2 men in a brown van from her home. The following year after the disappearance, Alligator, New Mexico police received the following eerie, frantic phone call.
Police department. Hello. I'm Antoinette Cayedito. Okay, whereabouts in Albuquerque? Hello? Antoinette, where are you?
4 years later, in Carson, New Mexico, a waitress at a restaurant noticed a couple and a teenage girl who matched the description of Antoinette. After the girl and the couple left, the waitress found the following note under the teenage girl's plate. Antoinette has been missing for 35 years.
What? She had called the police and left that note and nobody still found her?
This Polish woman is claiming to be the missing Madeleine McCann. But did you know there's age progression photos done of Madeleine that could help us know what she would look like today? In 2007, Madeleine was taken from her family's bedroom while they were on vacation in Portugal. And immediately the parents came under fire because they did leave the kids asleep in the apartment by themselves while they went to dinner with friends. This is the official age progressed photo of Madeleine to age 9, and this is the woman who's now claiming that she is Madeleine. And this woman does have some of Madeleine's signature features. Here you can see a black speck that looks like a pupil in Madeleine's eye, which is something they both share. She's also claiming that she has a lot of missing memories from childhood, but the eye speck does seem to be her most convincing argument. But German prosecutors actually believe that Madeleine is no longer alive, and 2 people believe they saw this man carrying a small girl towards the beach around the time that Madeleine's parents first noticed that she was missing. But that being said, it's not completely impossible that she would be alive today.
Hey man, do the DNA testing, bro. That's one of, I guess, the benefits of being, you know, that 21st century, man. He can just test the DNA against one of her relatives and see if they match up. You can put that mystery to rest. One of the benefits of technology. There's drawbacks.
Let's talk about this picture. It centers around Mr. and Mrs. Dubois. They were some of the town of Hackenshaw's favorite neighbors, but they had a dark side to them. But first, we're gonna enjoy some pizza. This is Mike, my favorite pizza. It's from Marco's Pizza. Reminds me of Jersey because I'm from Jersey. You see, they were kind to everyone, even invited people who just moved into town for dinners. They would also have the best decorations for holidays as well. Their house would always win the contest for best decorated in the town. People just loved their Christmas lights
and their Halloween decorations. In the beginning of October 1876, they started throwing parties for the kids. All the kids from around the town would come, even from outside the town. It was fun. They played games, they ate candy, and everyone just had a good time. But out of the 20 kids that came over that night, about 4 went missing. And after about 3 weeks of searching, the case went slow and they gave up. Halloween finally came around, and the contest for the best decorations, of course, went to the Dubois. That night while trick-or-treating, one of the boys in town named Sam went up to one of the decorations. When he grabbed the mask off, he realized it was one of the children who went missing. The child was stuffed and put on display in front of the yard as a decoration. The Dubois, who saw this and not wanting to get caught, grabbed the little kid inside, adding him to their collection. No one suspected a thing because the Dubois were so kind and nice to everyone. It wasn't until years later on their deathbed that they admitted at throwing parties every year to steal a child or 3 and told police that they could find all the missing children in their basement. The reason they did it was because they needed decorations realistic enough so they could always win those contests.
Everybody has double eyes. Can't trust them.
It's this woman, 59-year-old Debbie Kolier, who was a mother and office manager who was found charred alive in the northeast of Georgia. But while I'm sitting here and I'm, researching this case, it's even stranger than I thought it was. Something is deeply off with this story. Though here's what we know. September 10th, she is reported missing, and the following day, her van is found, but she's not inside. So the daughter comes forward. She says that, her mom doesn't have any history of mental illness. She wouldn't be trying to hurt herself. So what happened here? Well, later that day, after the van was found, they go deeper into the woods where Debbie is found on a tarp, described as burned alive. But this was a tarp she bought herself at the Dollar Tree, shortly before she was found. Stranger than that, her daughter comes forward and says before she was found, her mom Venmo'd her $2,385, along with this cryptic message. Does that not seem like an oddly specific amount, though?
Most terrifying demonic activity ever caught on camera.
Bobby, is that you? Bobby. I get it. I get it, man. You're just gonna stare at each other for what? You got me. I don't know what the fuck their problem is. I keep doing this shit. I'm just gonna stare at him then. Okay, right. Just go to your room. Fine. Alright. Yeah. I know, Disney. You got me. Jim, you got me. You got me, man. You got me. Okay, it's good.
Could be an edit.
And just stay in your room.
The oldest traceable body on Mount Everest is considered to be that of George Mallory, an English mountaineer who was part of the first British expeditions up the mountain in the early 1920s. He and his hiking partner Andrew Irvine were last seen about 800 feet from the summit before disappearing. In 1999, an expedition up the mountain sought to find Mallory, and they did. Well preserved too. Injuries sustained on his body and circumstantial evidence give some idea as to what happened to him, namely that he slipped, fell, and conked himself in the forehead with his own ice axe. Ugh. We still don't know if Mallory and Irvine reached the summit before their fatal accident, but some in the field believe that Mallory did. They also think he left a photo of his wife at the summit because it wasn't on his body when it was found, and he always carried it. We don't know much about Irvine because his body is still unlocated. And on an eerie note, Mallory and Irvine had a camera with them to record the historic event, which, if ever found, would likely give us some fascinating insight into their journey.
Could you guys climb up Mount Everest? I don't know, man. I know that might be on some people's bucket list, but knowing that there's a lot of freaking courses up there and they kind of use it as a marker point, I don't know if I could take that trip. Could you guys? I want to see down below.
Let's talk about this picture. It centers around Mr. and Mrs. Dubois. They were some of the town of Hackenshaw's favorite neighbors, but they had a dark side to them. But first, we're gonna enjoy some pizza.
He always
This is
eat.
like my favorite pizza. It's from Marco's Pizza. Reminds me of Jersey because I'm from Jersey. You see, they were kind to everyone. Even invited people who just moved into town for dinners. They would also have the best decorations for holidays as well. Their house would always win the contest for best decorated in the town. People just loved their Christmas lights and their Halloween decorations. In the beginning of October 1876, they started throwing parties for the kids. All the kids from around the town would come, even from outside the town. It was fun. They played games, they ate candy, and everyone just had a good time. But out of the 20 kids that came over that night, about 4 went missing. And after about 3 weeks of searching, the case went slow and they gave up. Halloween finally came around, and the contest for the best decorations, of course, went to the Dubois. That night while trick-or-treating, one of the boys in town named Sam went up to one of the decorations. When he grabbed the mask off, he realized it was one of the children who went missing. The child was stuffed and put on display in front of the yard as a decoration. The Dubois, who saw this and not wanting to get caught, grabbed the little kid inside, adding him to their collection. No one suspected a thing because the Dubois was so kind and nice to everyone. It wasn't until years later on their deathbed that they admitted at throwing parties every year to steal a child or 3 and told police that they could find all the missing children in their basement. The reason they did it was because they needed decorations realistic enough so they could always win those contests.
So they took kids, man, just because they wanted to win a stupid contest, bro. What going through people's minds, man, when they're doing these acts? To win a contest, it was worth it for that? Ruining people's lives for a dumb contest just to get validation, bro, from people you don't know. Man, bro, people will seek that anywhere and everywhere, bro. And they do things like this that I would never even imagine just to get some validation, bro.
These are serial killers that got caught for being idiots. And yes, this is a series, so make sure you follow along.
Okay.
This is David Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam. He's best known for being the serial unaliver who believed that his neighbor's dog was telling him to commit the crimes. And he was really hard to catch. His attacks felt random and lacked pattern, other than the fact that a lot of his victims were women with long brown hair. But the thing that did this man in was that he parked illegally while committing one of the crimes. Celia Davis was out walking her dog one night when she saw a car being ticketed. And then out of nowhere, she sees this figure come towards her with what looks like a gun in his hand. She freaks out and runs away, but hears 2 gunshots get fired behind her. The next day, she learns that 2 people, Stacy Moskowitz and Robert Violante, had been shot in that area. So she calls the police and tells them everything she saw that night. The man with the gun, hearing the gunshots, and seeing the car with the ticket. And the cops did a real quick search through their database and found that the car had been registered to Berkowitz, who was already on their radar. And the second they went to question him about it, he confessed to everything.
Idiots, bro.
Erica's family told her they were going on vacation in Lake Tahoe, when in reality they were dropping her off at a trouble teen wilderness program that she would not survive. Erica Harvey was just 15 years old when she was dropped off at the Catherine Freer Wilderness Program. The program promised Erica's family that they could get her off drugs, but the staff were not trained very well. The first day that she was there, the kids all went on a really long hike, and Erica started showing symptoms of dehydration. Erica was also on antipsychotic medication, which was something the staff did not have any experience with. So when she started speaking gibberish and her eyes rolled into the back of her head, they thought she was being dramatic. And when she fell over backwards into a ravine, they completely ignored her. Finally, after an hour, they went to go check on her, but Erica didn't have a pulse. The staff called a medical helicopter, but they didn't know where they were, so they gave them the wrong coordinates. By the time Erica saw a doctor, it was 5 hours later, and she didn't have a chance. And programs like Erica's still exist today, trapping kids like prisoners because they're minors and can't sign themselves out. This week I interview a survivor who was gone for 3.5 years in the trouble teen industry because she was 14 years old when she was taken.
Nah, that's messed up. They can't even get this out because they're so young.
On the evening of September 10th, 2002, 31-year-old Miroslav Kuklish was entering an underwater cave off the coast of Croatia, trying to catch up with his 4 dive buddies. He had entered the water about 10 minutes after them because while they were on the surface, the 4 had explained to him that they were going to check out this underwater cave. But Miroslav had told them he wanted nothing to do with this cave, he was just going to go on an open water night dive. So they said okay, and they went without him. Unbeknownst to Miroslav, as soon as the four had entered this 2-meter wide hole in the bottom of the ocean, they had immediately recognized it was well beyond their skill level, and they had turned around and gotten right out of there. Unbeknownst to them, though, Miroslav had made the exact opposite decision, and as soon as he got in the water, he went right down to the cave entrance and barreled down after him, and I mean, he really went for it. Now, the way that this cave is set up is there's a 15-meter deep chute, which leads to 2 different passageways, which lead to 2 different underwater caverns, the shallower one, or the upper gallery, and the deeper one, the lower gallery. The bottom of the lower gallery is about 54 meters or 180 feet deep. Okay, so what Miroslav does is he dives down this 15-meter corridor. Now, bear in mind, the walls are super narrow in these corridors, and you're kicking up silt the whole time, so you can't see anything. And where the 3 meet, it's almost impossible to tell which is which, because again, you can't see, and unless you know this cave like the back of your hand, I mean, being underwater is really disorienting. You don't know if you're going to the deep one, the shallow one, or up to the exit. It's kind of just a guess if you don't really know the cave. So he goes immediately down, and he goes immediately into the deep gallery. He makes it all the way down to 165 feet before he realizes he needs to turn around and get out of there. So he makes his ascent back up, and he makes his way back up to where the 3 separate again. And he needs to find the exit. But instead of finding the exit, he goes into the shallow gallery. And now he is running out of air, and he really needs to find the exit. So he goes back up to where they all 3 separate, and he's doing this probably mostly by feel now, because again, with the silt, you can't see. So he has a 50-50 shot, but instead of picking the exit, he picks the way he just came from, and he goes back down into the deep gallery. And at this point, we know when he hits the deep gallery again, he runs out of air. And he finds that shallow air pocket at the top of the deep gallery, but he's only got a few minutes of air in that little pocket, and he knows that. We know he was there for 5 minutes from his dive computer before he ultimately would still drown a few minutes after this. We know this from the autopsy report. A police diver would also drown trying to recover.
This is not a fucking joke.
Now, a lot of people have been tagging me in this video, so I'm here to explain the backstory to this whole thing. Now, before I begin the video, I have an announcement to make. First things first, I just posted my first YouTube video on the Sylvia Likens case, so if you want to check that out, please do. Link is in the bio. You can also make fun of me for my old YouTube videos. I don't care. Also, in spirit of Scream 6 coming out tomorrow.
And has a creepy history. Visitors who have explored there say that once they enter, it's otherworldly in there. Creepy. First of all, it's reportedly completely silent. You can't hear birds, animals, bugs, nothing. A researcher compared entering the heart of Dudleytown to standing inside a recording studio booth. Another common complaint from visitors is that a lot of the photos they take in Dudleytown won't develop, but as soon as they leave, their cameras will work just fine. Which makes sense, as I had a really hard time finding really any photos of Dudleytown when I was researching. The creepy legend of the town is years ago the Dudley family fled to the US after one of their family members was taken care of after plotting against King Henry VIII. They settled in Connecticut and the bad luck followed. Residents of Dudleytown began suffering a series of devastating crop failures and mental illness was rampant in the village. There were countless mysterious disappearances within the village and all-around chaos overwhelmed Dudleytown. By the early 1900s, it was completely abandoned. For fans of the Conjuring films based on paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, the 2 visited Dudleytown and outright declared that it was extremely haunted and controlled by something terrifying. Investigators agreed that Dudleytown is some kind of a portal. But here's where it goes from spooky to downright bizarre. The owners, the Dark Entry Forest Association, closed Dudleytown to the public and don't do anything to dispel the rumors. In fact, they refuse to be interviewed for the most part, and the owners go to great lengths to conceal their identities. On top of that, if you are caught trespassing in Dudleytown, you will be heavily prosecuted. This is so strange to me. We see so many other ghost towns around the world, and usually they keep these places open for tourism. You know, profit off the history and the spookiness. But for some reason, this association wants to keep people out of Dudleytown altogether. A paranormal researcher said there's some kind of secret that they are keeping there, and they want people to stay out. What are your thoughts? This has been requested a couple times. Has anyone ever been? Or are there any towns by you that you find to be really creepy?
It's portal, bro. That's what they said. There's maybe some bad energy coming out of there.
On May 1st, 2020, in Charleston County, South Carolina, 58-year-old Cynthia Covert was over at her friend and client Barbara's house doing Barbara's nails. And they were doing this appointment on Barbara's enclosed back porch, which overlooked her yard and then a large freshwater pond. Now, Barbara would later state that Cynthia was acting very strangely. Normally, she would be very, very professional, but today, not so much. She was talking a lot. She was just super bubbly. She was talking about her boyfriend who was coming to visit, and it was just totally unlike her. And she had showed up with a bottle of wine, although Barbara said she didn't witness her drink any of it. But anyways, the appointment carries on, and about halfway through, Cynthia looks over at the pond, and she notices that just off the bank in the water, there is a 10-foot or just over 3-meter long American alligator, and she's fascinated by this. And Barbara says, oh yeah, he's been here for the last 20 years, we just don't mess with him. So the appointment continues on, and they finish up, and when they do, Barbara begins to tidy up the porch, move chairs back where they were, when she turns around and notices that Cynthia has made her way down through the yard to the bank, and she's standing really close to this alligator taking pictures of it on her cell phone. And Barbara immediately begins to yell and scream at her, hey, get back from there. I witnessed this alligator take a deer off the shore just yesterday. And Cynthia yells back at Barbara, and she says, well, I don't look like a deer. Now, Barbara's husband at this point can hear this commotion, and so can a next-door neighbor, and both men make their way outside when Cynthia does the unthinkable. She steps in the water with the alligator, and she reaches out, and she's going to try and pet it. And as soon as she does this, this 10-foot long alligator lunges forward and grabs her by the left leg and begins to drag her out into deeper water. The two men start sprinting down to the water. The neighbor grabs a rope. They get down there at the same time, and the neighbor throws the rope out to Cynthia. She grabs it, and now the two men are having a tug of war between them and this alligator for Cynthia. And then Cynthia would look up at them and just very calmly say, well, I guess that's the last time I'll ever do that. And then this alligator would put her into a death roll. And it would take her underwater, and they would not see her again. They called the police, the fire department, the police show up. For 15 minutes, they don't see anything. But then the alligator surfaces. It's still got Cynthia's body in its mouth, and then it immediately takes her back down before it resurfaces again. The police shoot the alligator 5 times, once in the head, 4 more times. It releases her, they retrieve her body, which is intact, but her left leg was totally mangled, and she had unfortunately drowned in that 15 minutes.
Why was she trying to pet the alligator, man? She warned her hairdresser warned her. Hey, things people do, man. They try to give you warning, and they don't listen. Look what happened. Seekers, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, thank you guys for seeking the truth with me. And make sure you guys comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button. Also hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my videos. Guys, gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If we have any brand new viewers to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry. Let's talk about it right now, man. We break down the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank all my supporters, man, who's coming back to the channel each and every single day, watching the videos entirely, man, commenting down below, and most importantly, hitting that thumbs up button on each and every single video drop. I greatly appreciate your support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers, man. Say it with me, y'all. Seek the truth.
World records that will make your skin crawl. Zion Clark was born without legs because of a rare genetic condition and dreams of becoming a multi-time Olympic champion. He recently achieved the record for the fastest man on his hands in the world. Measured at a length of 24 feet, Ayanna Williams has the female record for the longest fingernails on a pair of hands. Next, this video shows 20-year-old Karubal Yoma from Ethiopia performing a unique talent as he attempts to break the record for the longest time to spray water from his mouth. He achieved the record spraying water for 56 seconds straight. This clip shows Sultan Kosin from Turkey and Chandra Dongi from Nepal as they're meeting for the first time in 2014. At the time, Sultan was the tallest man in the world, measuring a staggering 8 foot 2 inches, whereas Chandra was the shortest, measuring just 21.5 inches tall.
Okay, this picture is absolutely terrifying. Yesterday in Australia, this girl drops her phone and it falls in between these two boulders. She then reaches to try and grab it, falls in, and ends up getting trapped upside down. And if anyone is getting Nutty Putty cave vibes from this, well, you should. Her friends did everything they could to try and get her out, but eventually, out of desperation, they called emergency services. She remained upside down for a staggering 7 hours while rescue teams used this specialized winch to remove the boulders and then gently snake her out. When she was rescued, she felt dizzy, her head was swollen, and it took a while for her to regain feeling in her legs again. Her phone was never found.
These are the
All that for a phone? Man, if you see a fall, like, that's like, man, when the phone falls into, like, the crack of the, you know, the couches and stuff like that, you know, that space where it's just like an empty void, it goes in there, it's gone forever, bro. Man, if I see your phone fall down the boulder in a crack like that, I kind of get claustrophobic vibes, so I can't do it.
It is world records on Earth. Alright, so first, this woman has the longest fingernails in the world. And apparently they measure 4 foot 6 inches. All I'm wondering is how does she wipe? And this man has the stretchiest skin in the world because when he was younger, he was diagnosed with a disease that caused his skin to be super stretchy. He's kind of like Elastic Man from the Fantastic Four. And finally, this guy has the biggest tongue in the world. And when he inflates it, his tongue looks way bigger than a golf ball. Believe me, his girlfriend hasn't left him in 10 years.
This is the ugliest woman in the whole world. That is the sad, unofficial title this woman received in the 1900s. Her name is Maryanne Beavenon, and this is her story. She was born in London in 1874 to a middle-class family, and in 1894 she became a nurse. She married Thomas Beavenon in 1903, but only 3 years later she was struck by a rare disease that doctors didn't know much about. The hormonal disease is known as acromegaly, which affects the bones. This causes the bones to grow 2 to 3 times more than normal, and usually only affects the hands and feet. But her case was severe, and it affected her whole body. As you can tell by the photos, her appearance changed drastically in just a few years. Her husband, although confused about what was happening to his wife, stuck by her side until he tragically died of a stroke in 1914, and she was left to raise 4 children alone. Her disease even caused her to lose her job, but she was determined to do what she had to for her children. She was forced by her predicament to join a contest which was the ugliest woman in the world, where she won first prize. The media would pay her small amounts to take photos and write horror stories about her. Honestly, she should have won Best Mother in the World award for doing all this for her children. Due to all the media attention, she was actually invited to work at the Dreamland Circus on Coney Island in 1920. For 13 years, she worked in the freak show business, suffering being called a monster, a freak, being beaten up, all to watch her children grow. On December 26, 1933, she died of natural causes.
The things society will do, bro, just because you don't meet, I guess, a beauty standard. It's sickening, man. Like you said.
Here's the meaning behind beloved rapper's name. Starting off, we have X. He said his name revolves around the unknown in his life, but let's have a listen.
So X Tentacion means unknown temptation. Significance of the X. For some time, the X was the only unknown numeral to me. So, Tentacion is temptation in Latin. So I actually just pushed the two together in unknown temptation because I feel as if that's what my life revolves around.
Next, we have Juice WRLD. His name was heavily inspired by Tupac and a misspelling, but let's have a listen.
The haircut, like the juice cut, like Tupac when he had a movie. I think WRLD came from me spelling it wrong. I think I was making like an account or something, and I spelled it wrong because WRLD was actually taken.
And finally, we have Lil Uzi Vert.
I already had the vert part. It was like vertical, like straight up. One day I was rapping and there was this guy, he was out there, he was like, oh man, you rap fast like a machine gun, like a little Uzi or something.
The Jungle Book was based on a real person. Yes, we're speaking about Mowgli. Around 1867, a group of Indian men were out hunting. They came across a cave where they heard animal-like sounds. They entered the cave to find a child, no older than 6, amongst a family of wolves. This boy couldn't stand on 2 feet. He crawled around on all four. And he couldn't even talk. In fact, he mimicked the sounds of the wolves he was living with. The hunters killed the wolves and took the boy back to an orphanage. Over the years, he learned to stand upright, but never really learned how to talk. Instead, he continued making animal-like sounds the rest of his life. They named this boy Dinasami-chan. Also, have you heard about my upcoming documentary? You can check the pinned for more info.
The Jungle Book was based off a real story? Hey man, like I said, I learned watching these clips together with you guys, man, that these kid movies and TV shows, they're always based off of a story that's out there, man. So can't put it past them. But that was a classic, and I never even knew that.
These are the craziest world records that will blow your mind. Part 1.
Talk about it.
Gary Turner, the man with the world's stretchiest skin. He can stretch his skin up to 6 inches due to a rare disorder in his connective tissue and ligaments. Next is Karsten Mass, who has the world record for the longest usable golf club. The club is over 14.5 feet long, and somehow he's still able to hit precise drives. Finally is Nick Stoberl, the man with the world's longest tongue. His tongue is almost 4 inches long. Well, I think we know who's going to be playing Venom in The Amazing Spider-Man 3.
What the heck? What do you even do? The tongue that freaking long, bro.
What if someone from the future told you that all digital data in the world will get deleted in 2033? A guy named Peter Reuter claims to be a time traveler from the year 2062 and says that's exactly what's going to happen. The creepy tale of K63 is presented to us today by Spotify, and yo, it gets even crazier. His name is Peter Reuter, who says in November of 2022, patient 0 of a deadly virus started infection at JFK Airport. According to his story, a new variant of the virus known as Pegasus will spread to infect the entire world. Dr. Eliza Knight was assigned to Peter's case, who tells her the end of the world is closer than we think. According to him, kids being born now will be known as the IP, or interpandemic generation, who will grow up glued to a screen and fearing social contact. In 2031, we finally establish our first colony on Mars, but that's nothing compared to the discovery we make there 11 years later. On March 30th, 2033, the world will experience the Great Deletion, in which an AI tasked with cleaning up junk files ends up deleting literally everything. Just imagine waking up one day with no email, no social media, your entire digital footprint is completely erased. Then, in August 2042, that colony on Mars uncovers an ancient city buried under the Martian surface, which apparently teaches us how to time travel. Ultimately, October 2053 is when the entire world crumbles for good. But then, the unexpected happens. Dr. Knight wakes up in the year 2012, where she's now the patient, and a familiar doctor is interviewing her about her mental health, which is the plot of the scripted audio thriller K63, a Spotify original audio series that's oddly close to reality. Season 2 just dropped, so you can binge both seasons now on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts.
It sounds like they were cherry picking from, the actual history, man, what's going on now, bro. They included AI, this, I guess, generation of kids that don't want to go outside and just, what they say is style, where everybody be saying go outside, touch grass. They're not too far off. I gotta give them that, man. You guys believe in time travel?
Here's a test to see if you or someone you know has trypophobia. Trypophobia is the fear of tightly packed holes. Starting off at number 1, we have this photo. This one makes me feel a bit uncomfortable to look at, but the next one's even worse, so if this freaks you out, don't watch the next level. At level 2, we have this. It said that tiny packed holes on the hand are what make people the most uncomfortable. If this one is grossing you out, do not watch level 3. Okay, this one actually freaked me out. I don't know what it is about the fingers of the palm, but this one definitely makes me uncomfortable. Congrats if you passed all the levels, and send this to a friend to see if they can.
I made it.
Wholesome facts that'll make your day slightly better. Part 2. If you've already made it to the airport without dying, you shouldn't be nervous about flying because you've already made it through the deadliest part of plane travel. Whenever you pet an animal, it actually lowers your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. Side note, this may not work on electric eels, porcupines, or anything that could decimate you in 2 seconds. Because guinea pigs get lonely, it's actually illegal in Switzerland to own just one. You have to get at least 2 if you want to have any at all. Sometimes tarantulas will keep tiny frogs as pets. The frogs will eat small insects that would typically eat the tarantula eggs, and in exchange, the frog gets a pretty damn good bodyguard. Capybara Land is a place in Japan where you can quite literally hang out with capybaras and see them chilling in hot springs. If 99% of the world's population finds you unattractive, that would mean that 78 million people still find you attractive.
There's a match out there for everybody, bro. Don't let them tell you different. Edits.
Inappropriate children's books that actually exist, Part 2. The Loneliest Hoe in the World, written by Travis Heaton and published in 2002. This Christmas tale begins with Santa preparing to depart with his reindeer. He congratulates his elves on a job well done by sharing with them some elf juice, and then boards his sleigh until coming to the realization that he's forgotten his hose. Christmas isn't Christmas without hose, Santa proclaims. Ain't that the truth? You can't be an astronaut, it's just not realistic. Written by Joseph Smets. This book is a 26-page story that documents a boy who meets astronauts and shares his dream of having their career in his future. They point blank tell him not to bother. They go further by telling him of the complicated prerequisites and the difficult trigonometry. And when the boy asks if he can be an astrologist instead, they tell him astrology is a joke of a career.
Gruesome facts you didn't know.
Crushing dreams.
12. If you ever have kidney stones, simply take a ride on Thunder Mountain at Disney. In 2016, researchers took a model kidney on the ride to see if this rumor was actually true. They found that sitting in the back seat of the coaster would pass kidney stones 64% of the time. Sitting in the front, only about 17% of the time. This photo from the early 1900s shows two boys who were exposed to the same smallpox source. One was vaccinated, one wasn't. In 2007, at the age of only 38, Mark Bamber passed away from heart failure. To accommodate his 700-plus pound body, a special mahogany casket was made, which was nearly 8 feet long and 30 inches deep. At the time, there was no hearses that could accommodate a casket that large, so it had to be pulled by horse. After a horse riding accident, Emily Eccles was left with her jaw hanging on by only 1 millimeter of skin. Her surgeon said that her injury is the worst they've seen outside of a war zone. It took facial reconstructive surgeon Ricardo Muhammad Ali 5.5 hours to perform the surgery. This is her ready to go back to school just 1 month after the accident. In 1995, at the age of 61, artist William Utermohlen was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. From the time of his diagnosis until the year 2000, he created self-portraits, a powerful documentation of his descent into the illness. In 1923, jockey Frank Hayes won a race at Belmont Park in New York despite being dead. Mid-race, he suffered from a heart attack, but managed to stay in the saddle until he crossed the finish line.
Here's what scientists actually found at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. In 1960, two men decided to try and get to the bottom in this ship. But scientists were almost positive that they wouldn't find anything since it was 36,000 feet underwater, which would cause so much pressure and make it hard for anything to live that far down. After spending 5 hours going all the way down to the bottom, they stayed there for 20 minutes and the scientists on the surface were shocked. They started hearing weird sounds of something grinding against their ship. They decided to look on their monitor and they saw a massive shadow with 3 heads. But people think that they were just seeing things because of how tired they were. However, once they got to the surface, the walls of their ship, which was 5 inches thick, was completely destroyed. And the weird thing is, they all kept this to themselves for 36 years until it was posted in the New York Times. But years before this, lobster catchers had claimed that they had repeatedly saw a big fish, which fit the description of a megalodon which has been extinct for over 3 million years. But could one be hiding at the bottom of the ocean? What do you guys think? At first it just looks like
Do you think one? A megalodon at the bottom of the ocean, man? We haven't even explored, I've heard like the reports, man, we haven't explored like all of our oceans, bro. It's still a part of it that we haven't accounted for. So that very could be a possibility. Imagine a big megalodon just circling our world right now, bro. Just deep, deep, deep undersea, and we have no idea. It's scary.
like a normal staircase, right? Well, now what I want you to do is flip your phone upside down, then blink your eyes and watch what happens.
I need some of you guys to try that. Tell me what you see.
Maps that will change the way you see the world. If Did Not Vote was counted as a candidate in the 2020 US presidential election, it would have won with 278 electoral votes. Americans were asked to point where Iran is. All the green dots are the people who got it right, and the orange dots are the rest of the guesses. Iowa has 99 counties, and it could have been a clean 100 if this one up here just followed suit with the rest of them next to it. This is what the world could look like about 250 million years from now if no international borders changed. This was the Roman Empire, and this was the Mongol Empire at their biggest sizes ever.
Ooh.
The red highlighted places are the only places in the world where you don't need a permit to buy a gun. Basically just most states in the United States and Yemen. Follow for more.
That's scary. Deuces, I'm out.
Okay guys, you're out in the woods and you hear these screams. What's the first thing that comes to mind? This literally sounds like someone is being murdered. And I don't blame her for thinking that it's someone screaming, because I did too. After doing some research on this, a lot of people were saying that this is either a mountain lion or a bobcat. There's also this video that's so terrifying and sounds like a horror movie. So yeah, if you ever hear this out in the woods, it's just an animal and not someone getting murdered.
It sure sounds like it, man. But even if you hear that, bro, I'm out. I'm hitting the jets. Mountain lion, bobcat, I won't find out. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true one seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys comment down below. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Also, man, don't forget to hit that post notification bell so it's getting notified when I upload my next video. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.